tell me, we all are healer here. Tell me, frankly speaking, how many times we have given our own case, and how many of us are still searching the dilemma? And I'm sure most of you will write it. Yeah, our own remedy, our own state. So one of the things which, was bothering me was, how we can balance our own self, own life by using this approach. That's what I would share with you. The whole idea is that how do we find our own natural, spontaneous, peculiar symptom or the pattern from that spontaneous space, from that natural right brain space. How do I find out amongst these methods what I spoke in the book or some more I gave you here? Yeah. And more will come up. Those methods which are actually me centric, and I don't want all book centric method. I cannot do all. Though some of them are applying in my patient or written in the book, but I cannot do it on myself. And this symptom, which are spontaneous, natural, comes up in that moment. They come up crazily anywhere. They come up in when I'm sitting on a toilet seat. They come up when I'm just about to sleep. They come up when I'm walking somewhere and something happens. They come up when I'm taking the case, and in the middle of the case, some thought comes up which is abstract, and I'm in the middle of the case. So how do I actually trust them? And how do I put them together? And then most of us, those who are present in this course, around 200 of us, we do daily at least 6 hours to 8 hours of left brain oriented, logical, systematic, deep search for the remedy or for the talking to the patient or reading the remedy. That means we are using our mind a lot. How do I bring that balance in my life? What do I do where the profession, which is my left brain oriented, I make it a vocation where there's vacation, means the right is also there. This is what, all was bothering me. And the first thing, what I suggest is to make a tailor-made diary. Another thing which, how to balance our day-to-day life. Now that's also which the advice which I gave to myself and my patient also many times. And I follow this. Is, our life is like a pendulum that it goes equal and opposite. And if the sum total of this is 0, then that is perfect equilibrium, a perfect health, like shunyata, as Buddhism calls it, or different people have a different name for it. but the idea is equal and opposite. Whether it is mental to physical activity, intellectual to emotional activity, common conscious day to day to artistic activity, day to day common stressful to activity which are stressless. Does it make sense? Now, problem what happens is if you see our own self, that up to 20, teen, or little more than that, we naturally balance this two side beautifully. We can be spontaneous, we can be logical thinker, we use our brain, we use our body. Beautifully, it's happening. But if you look after, once we follow the personal, professional life, most of us, not all, we become one sided, pushing too much in the personal, professional space, which is mostly intellectual area. And it goes on and on and on and on till it goes to the extreme, which is generally 15 to 20 years, what we call midlife crisis. And then it gets released from here, and the same person goes exactly opposite. Exactly opposite. Now, this is the extreme two side. And it happens in all of us. Like we Indian, we work like crazy, 360 days. And then we take 5 to 7 days of holidays. Let's say we go to Switzerland. And in 7 days, I want to release all the stress of 360 days. One-sided stress. I go to Switzerland, I eat more, I walk more, I drink more, I abuse myself completely. I'm sure it's same everywhere. So the idea is, if day-to-day level, if I know what is that which professionally and personally I have to push, and if I can balance this day-to-day level, then the job is done. And the golden rule, what I follow here, which is, two side balancing, is 8:2 ratio. What I mean, if you have 8 hours of personal, professional, stressful activity, you need 2 hours of opposite activity. If you have 8 hours of personal, professional, left brain, or conscious activity, you need 2 hours. Now, these 2 hours may not be together. It can be before the work, in between the work, or after the work. It can be daily, weekly, or monthly. It can be in your alone space, before or after. Like morning, I get up and first thing I do nowadays, I read for 10 minutes. I lie down in sun for 10 minutes. I take the sunrise, because this is this 3 month where the sun is in my balcony range. I take daily lovely picture. Once that satisfies, already 30 minutes I've used it. I come in clinic in between patient, because I know I do too much of logical mental activity from 8:30 to 6:30 continuous. So I need opposite crazy activity. So in between the patient, if they tell me 4-minute break because the patient is still joining, I start walking here, 24 steps are there. I start playing with the ball. I start here, I keep my books. So I remove one book, start reading. Yeah. I'll start carving or small things daily. After, either I go by bicycle or I do zigzag walk. After our lectures also daily, which is here, almost 10 o'clock, I do walk. I talk to two of my assistant or anybody, and I would ask them, how was my lecture? Did you like it? I will talk to them. Then I would walk alone in a different road and then reach home. What I'm trying to say is daily break the pattern, especially young people who are there. No, yes, you will feel push, but long run, if you balance this well and sum total is zero, you can push this as much as you want till the opposite is there. This is the key. And all, whether I do, like I go on a beach, takes photographs, those micro photographs. So I'm focusing, but the stress is gone. So next day when I come, my focus is there, but the stress is not there. This way, this is the best, For example, you have a lunch break. You have 30 minutes, which walk for 12 minutes. Do an activity which is, opposite of what you're known to do. Once in a while, I break my own pattern, take a case from a method which is not mine. Once in a while, I read a book which is not mine in homeopathy, means my range of books. In fact, I buy every week 2 books which has nothing to do with homeopathy, nothing to do with genre which I read. For example, I'm right brain. I today, I removed it. Just I'm reading this books. Now this has nothing to do with my right brain. These are hardcore science book. Hardcore. This guy, in fact, Stephen Pinker is talking about rationality. Amazing book. That illogical thinking does not exist. But the example all who he gives is illogical. So what I'm trying to say that to, this slowly you will find your own way to 8:2. And it has to be done daily. Don't, otherwise it gets accumulated in a weekend, you need to do too much. And you actually don't feel good. That's why that Monday blue syndrome. If you do this, mostly it will not come.